With his eyes closed, he woke to the scent of sweat, vanilla, and wet hair. Tingling, his left eye twitched, refusing to compromise with the emerging sunshine glimmering behind the blinds. Life can wait, he thought. Sliding his soft hands through greased hair, smacking his elbow against the Victorian headboard, the morning ruckus was like rippling white linen. The reverberate respite from television exile suddenly smashed him in the face as his headache from last night returned in a whitewashing tide of regret. Furiously sweating, his nerves were shot, like McCarthy was maniacally laughing in his ear, pointing a gun at his marriage. His simple heart ached from the stakes of Cold War remakes. His life was spent portraying others' gestures, rhythms of speech, and lifestyles. So when the leaflets came, and intrigue gripped him tighter than flappers grip stocks before the age of gold plummeted, he was always a poor romantic at heart, finding odd scenes for old friends. But now, he was an old friend, in a motion picture counterclockwise to everything he knew. And then, he was transported back to white linen, where all 112 pounds rolled clockwise, tired from asking him,
"What's wrong, honey?"
From Friday to Sunday, for a God only knows reason, her brunette bangs beckoned his fingers like he wanted to pull a toonie from her ear. But the nostalgia of magic was lost on him as her breath descended and rebelled in its cavities with deep, slow gulps that curled his chest hair and ticklish goosebumps. She's magnificent. She always deserved the best in life and demanded it just the same, in love with pearls, fur, and extravagance. She never noticed him before his debut. Her presence in his life floated on the river of luxury, never knowing the misery drought brings. But how can he explain to her that the fountain that floated for years is now a dust bowl in an encore performance no MGM or WB would ever see? Her lips quivered a little, and he wondered why the white linen felt so good when his thoughts were now trapped like the circles inside his oak chamber bed. They were sanctuary to the conspiracies finally clawing through his red silk sheets. The fluffy freedom of cumulus white has now been tarnished by jet black abandonment. I never should have read that leaflet. I never should have attended that lecture. He reflects.
I don't know how I'm going to feed the kids. Starving artist doesn't pay the rent, doesn't bring the stage back under your feet. They say that money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure buys security like not all ideologies can. I was a first-class actor, making Casablanca like tabula rasa. Now my steps.
She's woken up, maybe for the last time with him, her curious capitalist. I've hidden behind a few lost causes in my days. Some more noble than pretty smiles and hushed whispers, walk between sisters with misters, not fit to stand up. I'm not going to be like one of those John Doe dummies today. If I woke up yesterday and I knew tomorrow was the end, I'd probably plan this day a little different. Biting in the passion pit, I'd walk up without warning besides a wink and kiss the lust out of her until she threw me off like soaked robes because that's all I'd be. Skin, bones, and wet clothes, running off adrenaline and some elixir of carnal might and imaginative flight. Into the busted misbist of bliss where bemusing screams screened from babies in bonnets as the result of being weaned from mother's nectar too early. Besides, becomings aren't always beings, even when believing doesn't always mean seeing. Today, my message is for every kid who got punched in the face because of a communication breakdown about the symptoms of socioeconomic strife, whether it be the Goodwill tattered clothes or the Nikes the spoiled ones, where this is a spoiler for a neo-civil movement because there is still one marginalized group where even today they still say, no admission. I'd run into schools, drunk off thought that if my message didn't get out, I'd be dug in rot and allot myself a limbo I never signed up for. Shielded and expressing my convictions with due diligence, calling, texting, tweeting, acting, performing, writing, using that Tumblr I never used just to say the voice is the greatest tool Dorothy ever wielded. Because sometimes when you want something, you better stand up for it no matter what shoes you're wearing. You better sprint into traffic and scream the cars into silence if you want to wrestle a visceral vessel and muscle your muscles and tussles of speech. Considering how many kids are in Parliament, few children see past first world problems, sucked into complacency and passivity like a baby forced on formula and pseudo-titillations. Get these munchkins out of the yellow brick pen, and they'll show you who's been pounding the sleeping dogs to lie. My last day will always be today, and I'd call every friend, family member, and acquaintance so lost time didn't get drunk off its own wasted barrage. Before I got out of Dodge, I'd grab a soapbox and a megaphone and whisper my demons to sleep. I'd take sleeve skeletons out of my closet and forgive them. And then I'd bonfire all my regrets and thank my pearly whites that though I may have been chewed up and spit out more times than rappers spit out rhymes, I got up and spat my own truth, unlike many trolls who roll their eyes aloof. Self-advocates, caught up in indecision, lacking the confidence to say what they want to say because they don't know how to say what they want to say. Your last day will always be today. Compulsory school has red tape bound at the hands and feet of young people who once worked alongside elders, contributing, earning knowledge, respect in their own way. Adolescence is an invention, and we bought it. What kind of producers are producing our products? The world is scrabbled, with young people putting these letters on boards, hammering gavels for justice on the knees of their peers, taught passivity under protection in lieu of empowerment. Today is always our last day to say what we really wanted to say, but I'll listen for now.